Google. Let's go get them again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark, and welcome to Sampling Samples. Today we are sampling from the brand of Carolina Herrera and part of the confidential line, the higher echelon line, the pricey one. This one is their amber-based one called Amber Desire. Now, amber can go several ways on skin. It can be powdery, obviously sweet, resinous, all that good stuff. So what direction will this one take us? Is it going to be a heavy ambery scent, or is there going to be other notes that are going to overshadow the amber and it's going to be more on the back end? I did take a look at the Herrera website. Again, I think it was the US one, and I saw that this one was not listed anymore on the official site. No longer is my Virgin Mint either. So is this one discontinued? And again, I don't want to make any fake hype or anything like that, but Virgin Mint's not on the website, neither is this one. So I do own several from the brand. They're actually in this curio cabinet right here. I will be speaking more about my full bottles that I purchased. I think the only one that I spoke about was Virgin Mint, but I do have a bunch more that I have to speak about. And I do have other samples from this line too. So I'm going to continue to discover this line in 2024. But if you are interested, I do have a few videos on this line. Gold Myrrh, Absolute, Platinum Leather, Virgin Mint are the ones currently on my channel. So this is going to be my fourth one as of today. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. The release date was back in 2015. The notes behind this, All-Star Perfume and Flippo. Now the notes, the big notes to my nose, the note breakdown isn't a big bold note breakdown. You utilize, of course, vanilla and labdanum to create amber, and this is basically your notes: amber, vanilla, and labdanum. I did get a little bit of everything in this particular release. You are going to get the resinous feel of the labdanum. And of course, the vanillic tendencies are big in this one too. There's some ambers out there sometimes that the vanillic tendency isn't big and bold, but here you are going to get some vanillic tendencies. So my little sample was actually a decant from someone I purchased a full bottle of. I think it was the tobacco or the patchouli. So those are two that I owned. But that person I bought on Facebook groups, and that person was nice enough to give me a decant of Amber Desire. So let's sniff it out. It is my scent of the day today, but I'm just going to deplete where it has nothing in it. Oh, well, there's a little bit in it. Ooh. And the first thing that hits me is that resinous amber. That's the one thing that hits me in the air. Now launching, there it goes. And yeah, right off the bat, it will remind you of some of the best in the game. It has that syrupy amber, and this is where I love my ambers, the direction that I like them to go into. They have this syrupy molasses-like smell and like a balmy glow too, and what I come to expect from a resin, and this is where this is taking me. The labdanum, the vanilla are your major players. It is your central theme. They make this a syrupy, ambery glow that I love in many ambery scents. So is it something new? No, I've smelt this before. Is it a really good amber? Yes, it is. Now, do expect some sweetness out of this amber because it pulls a lot of the sweetness from, of course, the vanilla. The main idea in this fragrance is amber, so you're not going to get sticker shock. These Herreras, there's some of them that give me the sticker shock, like I think it was the leather one that I didn't get much leather out of it. So those are things that I need to be mindful of with this particular confidential line. And that's one thing that, again, you have to test and you have to sample, because just because it's a leather doesn't mean it's going to be the major focus of the particular release. But this one, you're not going to have that sticker shock that, oh, this is not an amber. It is an amber. It is your main idea. Now, there are some secondary notes here that pull themselves in. The main one is rose. There's a nice rose note in here that steers you away a bit from this being a straightforward, just an amber-based scent. And I do smell, they do note or list a note of dates. I feel personally, I feel like it's a plum-like glow. There's a fruitiness in this, but that could be from the labdanum. Labdanum does give out a fruity plum-like hue sometimes. So we're gonna say it's a date note, but it really does get lost in the ambery glow personally. I feel like this purple hue would get more of a shine if this fragrance was thinner. And more I come to think of it, I think it's more of a plum than it dates. It's just basically, it's in the note breakdown, so it makes you kind of think of that, and they're close cousins, of course. But there is a fruity hue that is I would say a strong secondary in the opening. You lose it in the dry down. The opening is gorgeous. It has enough secondary notes to keep me interested as a advanced nose in the amber game. Now for price tag versus what you get, that's a different story, but at least it's not a big disappointment. It definitely is a very solid amber opening. Now once you get into the mid and deeper dry down of this release, it really doesn't move much. So can you call it linear? Yeah, you can. The initial big ambery hit really mellows. This scent really thins out actually. It's still an ambery, syrupy, resinous thing, but it had so much promise in the opening that it felt big and bold. But the more I wore this fragrance, and I did get a pretty good decant here, the more I felt like this thing was very thin. Once it really had a two-stager, and the second stage is much thinner. So you're gonna get, besides this sweetness and the resins, I did want to mention that more into the mid, you get some powderiness. You're gonna get some powdery aspects, so keep that in mind if you hate powdery ambers. It does have some of that in here. There's a bit of a spicy kick. I felt like it was more like a cinnamon than anything here. So it does give out a little bit of a spicy facet that works well with the ambery glow that of course gives you that overall theme of warmth to the scent. Overall, Amber Desire isn't a complex amber. Look at me, like this fragrance review is probably not gonna be very long. It's definitely going to be under 10 minutes or 20 minutes, sorry. My reviews will go 10 minutes for sure. So it's not a complex amber, nor really stands out in this oversaturated genre. There's tons of ambers out there. You can get as complex as you can. You can go, okay, you want heavy vanillic ones with not that powderiness and not that resinous feel. You're gonna get those. You're gonna get the ones that are just resinous. Some are resinous and vanillic. Some do have heavy powderiness. So this is in that cusp of all that. And then the price tag comes into play, and it kind of makes you think, like, if this was on the I'm not saying this would be on the regular Herrera, you know, the designer line, you know, the ones that are $100 or less, this would be a standout fragrance personally in the designer game, but because of the price tag, ouch. So it's a solid scent if you're new to ambers. That's basically where I would go. I would not, as a fragrance reviewer, if I was like your fragrance connoisseur, that you'd come see me and go, okay, well, let's start getting into ambers. Would I recommend this? Not really. I feel like there's ambers that are half the price of this that will give you what amber smells like. You know, if you're new to high-end or niche ambers, is this the wrong way to go? No, it fits right in the cusp, but isn't really new to a seasoned nose. Like someone like myself, I'm like, okay, it's really good. It is very good, and it's gonna get a good score. But at the end of the day, it is definitely lost in translation. There's nothing that separates it. There's no other note in here, maybe in the back end or in the opening, that would really make me want to pull the trigger on this one. I'm not saying I'm never gonna pull the trigger on this one. I might, I'm a collector. I have started collecting this confidential line. But that's where I kind of draw the line in the sand a little bit. Good scent. But is it a 10 out of 10? No, it is not. Now let's get into seasons, day night versatility and performance seasons. This is definitely fall winter based fragrance. It has that darkness. The legs on it, and I mean like performance, and we're gonna get into that, isn't as good as a lot of ambers out there. You know, the boldness of the fragrance, yeah, and the initial hit's really good, but in the back end, it loses a lot of steam. So for me personally in Canada, I would say start of fall, because it doesn't have the legs that a lot of other ambers would do great in the winter. However, I would do like the start of spring too. Like you can extend this one a little bit more just because of the thinness of it. Day or night, I feel like this is more geared for nighttime. Again, casual use. Can you dress it up? I don't know, I wouldn't really dress up this type of amber personally, but you can pull it off. Versatility above average. Again, maybe the thinness is helping it. You know, I've had ambers that are more syrupy, more resinous, more interesting than this, darker. That would hurt the versatility, but this one's very easy to love because there's not much to it. There's a rose. The only thing I could probably say as a warning as far as versatility goes, again, it's unisex, men or women, I could see that, but the men out there, the ones that don't like powdery fragrances, especially powdery ambers, the rose isn't that big of a factor, like a floral. So that would be my main gripe here, is for the men out there that don't like powdery scents, kind of get away, and for the women out there too. That's the only real thing, and you may not like how it's not overly sweet, but obviously in amber you're expecting some sweetness. Performance. The performance on here, again, it kind of fell off a cliff a little bit. Longevity 6 to 8 hours, which again, not terribly bad, but again, in the amber based game, you can find and you can just blindfold yourself, and you got a whole bunch of ambers and go like this, and you'll pick a bottle, and most likely that bottle is going to give you 10 plus. So 6 to 8 hours is still pretty good as far as longevity, but the projection's fairly average. So this thing, good scent bubble in the first couple hours, and then after that, you know, hour 3, 4 is where this thing kind of goes zoop. It starts really dying down as far as performance. So my final thoughts. This is where I'm kind of stuck in the middle of something. My final thoughts are, this is a nice amber. It really is. It does reflect the note in an excellent way. However, for the price tag, and then the price tag is huge, and these Herrera confidentials are also hard to find, hard to sample. So almost in a lot of cases, basically you stumble upon a Herrera boutique somewhere, and they'll sell these, or maybe in a certain country. So it's really the hardness of finding it, the price tag, the hardness of sampling this. There's a lot of downfalls to this fragrance, even though it's fairly good. But for the price tag, it is going against a lot of the best in the game as far as ambers go, just because of the price tag. Now, if this was $150, $100, we would be probably amping up this score, maybe +1, +2 maybe. I think you can find a much more interesting amber personally, especially if you've already dipped your toe into the amber game. You can do much worse though. So it is very, very solid in that case. Great for someone just starting to get into niche or high-end ambers. If you can get a sample or a little decant like I did, perfect. You know, if you're stuck in the designer game and now you're starting to amp up a little bit, this is a good one to sniff out to really see what amber can do, and see if you kind of like what amber can do, and then start looking elsewhere for ambers. This is excellent for the scent profile. So now if I had to give it a score out of 10, and again, with all the positives, and there's some negatives out there, some drawbacks, I really have to go and give it an 8 bottles out of 10. Very solid amber. Again, the downfalls are the downfalls that I brought up, and that's probably why it's at the cusp. And for me, bottle worthy is 8 is like your, as a score for me, am I getting a bottle of this? Not in a rush. Would I like to add it to my collection because I am collecting the confidential line? It is one of those that's not a snoozer. I'd like to have a bottle of it, and that's where it's at an 8. Like, I'm not rushing to get a bottle of this. So it's a really good amber, but you can do better, but you can do worse too. Now that you heard my take on this one, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. Again, there's probably not going to be too many comments. Not too many people have smelt this fragrance, again, because of how hard it is to find, how expensive it is, things like that. However, you know, if you have tried out the confidential line, please let us know about this line, what you have tested, what's great, what's not. I love to see all different types of comments. And of course, if you have smelt this, you know, add your 2 cents. You agree, disagree with me. Love to see that. And as always, a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your amber-based fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.